Good morning, boys and girls. Quick video to go through the coronavirus bounceback loan, which was announced yesterday. A little bit of further guidance has come out to us now, so we can kind of talk to you about what we know. I think more is going to come out. I imagine Rishi will be doing one of the daily briefings, and some more will come out on this then. But we'll tell you what we know now. And as the scheme goes live on Monday, so the 4th of May, this goes live, we will then be able to kind of give you another video to see how the process works. So, what do we know so far about the coronavirus bounce back loan scheme? So, it's available for small and medium-sized businesses. Basically, that means everyone that's watching this video is able to and eligible to apply. The government are now guaranteeing 100% of the loans. So one of the main issues, I think, with the Sybil's loan is that the government only guaranteed 80%, which meant that the bank basically used the same procedures they would as if they were taking on 100% of the risk, even though they were only taking on that 20%. So it's been brought in, the government are taking the entire risk in order to try and bypass the bank's underwriters, basically. So you can borrow between £2,000 and £50,000 per business. Originally, the first press release said that was up to a maximum of 25% of your turnover. So in theory, you need to be turning over more than 200,000 in order to be able to borrow the full 50,000. That's now disappeared from the guidance. I don't know whether that's a typo or it's deliberately removed, but it certainly came out originally with 25% of the total of turnover as being the total amount you can borrow. That's gone for now, but it may come back. The loan terms can be a maximum of 6 years, and the first 12 months interest and capital repayment free. So you've got an interest-free loan basically for 12 months, and then we don't know who the lenders at the back end of this are going to be. The government guidance says it's going to be delivered through a network of accredited lenders, so that would suggest that it's the 40 lenders on the Sybil register already, but they may be bypassing the banks completely and just going to those alternative lenders. We don't know that yet, and they're going to try and get the rates down as low as possible, but we still don't have any details of what interest rate does kick in once we get past the initial 12-month period. So who can apply and who can't? So you can't apply if you're a bank and insurance company, a public sector body, a school, or further education establishments. Again, I don't envisage anyone watching this video as any of those. So if you're a business based in the UK and have been negatively affected by the coronavirus, and I think there's strong arguments to say every business in the country has been affected negatively by the coronavirus, or certainly 99% of them. And then crucially, and we'll come back to this in a minute, but the other kind of factor in the eligibility is that you're not an undertaking in difficulty as at the 31st of December 2019. And we'll come back to that. So briefly then, how do we apply? So there's going to be a website launched on the 4th of May. It's a 2-page self-certification form. So you go in, you tell the government the details, and then assuming you hit the eligibility criteria, it appears that the loans will come out to you. It doesn't mention any underwriting or any credit checking or anything like that. It just looks like as long as you can tick the boxes, then they will loan you the money. But again, until we've gone through a couple of cases, we're not sure that that's exactly how it's going to work. What's important, I think, to note is if you're already going through the Sybil process, so you've already applied for one of these government-backed loans on the old 80% scheme, you're going to have, assuming that loan is accepted, you're going to have until the 4th of November to change from the original loan on the 80% security that you've got onto one of these bounce-back loans. So there's no benefit to you of stopping the application you've got going through for a Sybil. If you're borrowing more than 50,000 through the Sybil, then obviously this is irrelevant anyway. But if you're maybe borrowing 25, 30,000, you've got one going through, I would let that run through. If you're accepted, then great, you can then move on to the bounce back loan, and if you're rejected, then you can apply for the bounce back loan. So that's all of that. Now we're going to come back to that important part of the eligibility criteria. So 3 points to be eligible. You need to be based in the UK. You need to have been negatively affected by coronavirus. So most of you are going to hit that straight away. The important one is that you are not an undertaking in difficulty as at the 31st of December 2019. So what's an undertaking in difficulty, I hear you ask? Wow. It's a term that comes out from EU legislation. So it's the General Block Exemption Regulation. So the GBER number 651-2014, Article 2, Paragraph 18. I know, I'm scratching my head as well. But basically, because this is classed as government state aid, in order for you to be able to, for the government to be able to hand it out, they need to make sure that they comply with EU regulations to make sure that EU countries aren't bailing out industries without any kind of recourse. Whilst Brexit is still going on, I think that's the first time I mentioned Brexit in any of these videos, but whilst Brexit is still moving forwards, it's important that we still kind of comply with these state aid regulations. So, an undertaking in difficulty, and there's various clauses here, but there's one basically that relates to SMEs. So for an SME, except one that's less than 3 years old, basically if you've got a negative balance sheet, or at least half of your share capital has been wiped out by losses. So in reality, if you've got a negative balance sheet and your business is more than 3 years old, then potentially you're going to get classed as an undertaking in difficulty and therefore not be able to claim one of these bounce-back loans. Now there is an addendum to this that says if you're less than 7 years old and you or less than 7 years from your first commercial sale and you qualify for risk finance investments, which I don't think this is going to class us because it sounds to me like it's a debt vehicle rather than an investment vehicle. But there is potentially this 7-year window, but in reality it looks to me on first reading of this, and it's very wordy, and I think it's been translated from German into English, so it's a little bit kind of broken English, but it seems to me that if you've got a negative balance sheet as of the 31st of December, then you're potentially not going to be able to apply for one of these bounce back loans. So we will wait and see what comes out of the portal on Monday once we can go in and apply. So that's 8 minutes now of me rambling on about these bounce back loans, which I think is enough for anybody. If you think that you do apply or you are eligible and you want to apply, then obviously give us a call and we'll help you through the process. It sounds like it's designed to be as quick and straightforward as can be. But you do need to remember this is a loan, not a grant, so it is going to have to be repaid at some point down the line. So that's all for now. Stay safe, stay at home, and do reach out to us if you've got queries about this scheme, the furlough scheme, grants from the business rates, or anything in particular. Do give us a call. Otherwise, stay tuned and we will catch up soon. Thanks, guys.